guys? Welcome to another episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. I'm Chael. He's Daniel. Madison Square Garden is straight outside of this wall. Daniel, big fight feel, man. You fought at the Garden before. You've been to the Garden before. How you feeling?
It's awesome. It's awesome. But I got to be honest, man.
Go.
The city can get the best of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a quarter of a mile to go, and it takes an hour. What is that? Like, you know what I kind of wish? And this is the problem with, like, being in these types of cities. The cabbie will just take your money. Dude, tell me that it's better for me to walk.
Sure.
Be a good human being.
Yes.
Right? Like, just tell me it's better if you walk this quarter mile. It's going to take you an hour.
Yes.
Instead of 10 minutes.
There was a FedEx guy outside when I was on my lost journey, and I wanted to shoulder tap him and say, I will give you 100, but you got to walk me. You got to actually just walk me to this location. Daniel, I couldn't find it. It's 0.3 of a mile. And Siri will mess with you, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. New York City is a different place, and there are just so many people, but it does feel big.
Yeah.
Anytime we're here for fights, it feels big. It's probably colder than it's normally been at this time of the year, but it feels right? Because you can feel that kind of storm brewing. Yeah. What's going to be UFC 322 this weekend.
Hey, there's a vibe in the air. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, but there was so many people coming in on Jack out of nowhere. Dude. This has always been Islam, and the odds makers still favor Islam. I'm just telling you, in my own personal orbit, I'll name drop for you. Michael Chandler came in, Big Jack. Adesanya picked Jack by finish, that it won't even be a hard fight. That's a big deal. That's a big deal when world champions start saying your name.
You know, guys at times will look at the odds and get offended. And then when they start to hear the contemporaries, they go, okay, the people that know.
Yep.
Right? And that's going to propel Jack as he gets ready for this weekend. But before we get to that, we're going to talk a ton about Jack and Islam. I remember when New York was one of the last states to make this legal, to regulate mixed martial arts. And the first time we did it, Conor McGregor headlined against Eddie Alvarez, UFC 205. So this week in MMA history, we kind of revisit what was the start of the double champion era. Sure. Do you remember Conor McGregor, the lightning rod that he was fighting Eddie Alvarez? Let me set the stage for you first, though.
Please.
I wasn't here, but my nutritionist at the time was here. He said it was the most amazing scene you had ever seen. He said people just everywhere, Irish flags, bands, just concerts. He said 2 blocks from MSG, the UFC had took over New York City. He said we will never see the environment that they had then again. But when you think back to that, how big it felt, what do you remember most about UFC 205?
All right, and a real simple one. Okay, so Conor McGregor was beating everybody up and he was stopping them. Just to remind you, Jose Aldo was at 11 seconds or something. So he draws right into Eddie Alvarez, and that was the one big thing I was sure of. Nobody kicks Eddie Alvarez's ass.
No.
I remember saying those words, like, this dude is going to need 5 rounds. Nobody's walking through Eddie Alvarez. Remember when Conor came out and he was Sugar Ray? He put his hands behind his back, and then he comes with a 1-2, and he was so much faster than Eddie Alvarez. And it was a huge surprise. Eddie pays him props to this day. Just as, man, the guy was so quick, I wasn't ready for it. At any rate, that's really what I remember. I remember the showman. I remember the stoppage. Now he's got both belts in the 2 hardest weight classes, 45 and 55. Both by stoppage.
Do you remember remember his post-fight interview?
Yes, I do.
It was just perfect.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, like, you don't get him that right.
They forgot his belt.
Where's my belt? Yeah. Where's my belt? He's freaking out. Finally, they give him the belt, and he goes, I want to apologize to nobody. I got to tell you, man, yours with Anderson and then him, those were 2 of the best post-fight interviews of all time because you guys just got it right.
Thanks. And I give it to him, too, when he said to absolutely nobody.
Because they kind of expected, the fans went, what's Conor going to apologize for?
So, by the way.
And he hit him.
They go in the back to get the belt. He's screaming for his belt, so Dana's like, get him his belt.
Yeah.
They go in the back. There is no belt.
What did they do?
They went to Tyron Woodley, borrowed his belt. No. Conor refused to give it back. Tyron went home without a belt.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know if to this day he got it back. I know the UFC replaced it, but I don't think Conor ever gave him the belt.
He would never give it back.
No, he's like, that's the belt they gave me. It's mine now.
You want me to tell you what my biggest memory? Obviously, it was Conor just every time he hit Eddie, Eddie fell.
I'm sorry. I should have asked you.
Every time, I know.
Hey, Daniel, what was your biggest memory?
Thank you. That's like how this works, right?
I'd love to hear how this
it's like
for you.
My hand goes, your hand comes back to me, right? Hand come, hand
Sorry.
go. But, bro, you know when you're at the
You
top.
had to ask your own question.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, Daniel, please tell me, what was your business experience
Okay.
of Eddie
Do
versus
you remember UFC 205? But Eddie versus Conor. Conor kept hitting him, and every time he fell.
Yep.
But sometimes when you're the king, right, you look over at your kingdom, and you see all the pieces, and I'm going to move this left, and I'm going to move this right, and I'm going to rule.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at your kingdom, you don't necessarily look down, right? You never know what's brewing. Conor was the king of the world.
Yep.
But you know what was brewing on the prelims? Khabib was beating up on Michael Johnson and telling him, you need to give up, brother, because I deserve a title fight.
Yeah.
I deserve this. I'm the best in the world. Yep. And then he does an interview and goes, I'm going to beat your chicken. Yep. All you Irish fans, boo me. I'm going to beat your chicken. But it was classic, right? Yep. The king was on his throne looking at his kingdom, not realizing that the most dangerous person in his kingdom was literally in the building. Yep. And then Khabib beats him and becomes a global superstar. That's what I remember the most. Watching Khabib and him just he told Michael, brother, you need to give up. And Michael would not give up and he would punch him. Yes. And then you remember he was going to break his arm with a Kimura and you were like, he's ready. Everybody knew he was ready. But that's what I remember because he just didn't recognize the ultimate threat was down on the prelims.
Yeah. And he looked like a bit of a fool doing it. I mean, Khabib did at that time. Like to think that he could get onto Conor's level. And that was the big problem. Dana's even telling him, hey, you look really good, but this kid's a star.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Khabib finally camped out at Dana's car and Dana never came, so Khabib left the hat?
Yep.
He took that picture. But Dana respected that he waited for him till 3 a.m. and he gave him the fight. Had he not done that, I don't know if at that time he would have gotten the fight just because their stars were so. Khabib went on to be this massive star, but not at that time. No, it was Conor.
Not at that time.
That was a Conor show.
But yes, it was the Conor show. He had that great moment, and then Khabib that night really solidified himself as a true threat in the lightweight division, and ultimately he became one of the greatest lightweights.
You just said something. Maybe okay. So this is the exact opposite story. But when you say that Khabib was undercard and Khabib calls him out and everything's set up and it goes on to happen, the greatest dismissal in the history of this sport was Curtis Blades on your undercard, and you responded to him with the exact quote of Curtis, "We will never share the octagon."
No,
together.
when did this happen?
Daniel.
Curtis
Blades might have even deserved a shot at you. By the way, you dismissed him with those exact words, share the octagon. It was at T-Mobile Arena, and I remember. And
when I beat Stipe?
You said he's good. He's a good fighter. I don't deny it. I'm looking for big fights and pay-per-view money, and you and I will never share the octagon. And it went. No one ever spoke about it again till right now. It was the greatest. Do you feel bad? Because Curtis is a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Curtis is a good guy.
Hey, and sometimes people deserve stuff.
He was up and coming. He 25 or 6.
But you don't always get what you deserve in this world, man. Especially when a dude's like 40. Right. Dude's almost 40 years old looking at Curtis Blades, big, can wrestle. Like, hey, man, I'm not going to fight you for no pay-per-view. It just
You coined the phrase, though. People steal that term all the time, share the octagon.
Yeah.
You coined it. I was there.
You're the man. You're the man. That was a great night, right? But that was a long time ago.
Yep.
This weekend, we're on the verge of another guy trying to enter into that class of double champion. Conor started the double champ era.
Yep.
But Islam had to give his away to try to chase the second one. Is that done, though? Like, did that era that Conor started of the simultaneous champion, Ivan did it, Henry did it, Amanda did it, it became almost normal. While it seemed impossible, it became almost normal. And now it seems like they'll never let it happen again. Is that era done?
Well, I mean, look, Daniel, we fiercely adhere to the rules that we make up as we go. I mean, right, there are different guys in different situations, but I'm going to tell you no, and I'm even going to lay the math out for you. And the math right now, I know the White House is down the road, but other people started this narrative, not me. Right now, if you were to do it, Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev is the fight. Now, the question only becomes, do you fight for Ilia's belt or do you fight for Islam's? And my belief is you fight for Islam's to give Ilia the opportunity for triple champ status. No. That's another conversation, but I think that makes that fight bigger. I think that Islam might be looking at that the wrong way. He wants to come back to 55. It's like, no, Islam, all that you need is the fight. That's a match. Just get the fight, and your chances will strengthen if you can add that piece to the story. So I'm going to tell you, we will see actual champ, because being a champ here and then that's a two-time champ, but it's not champ is simultaneous, and sometimes that's just a paperwork issue. But either way, those little details matter, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you in that regard that it's going to be seen possibly, but I don't think it'll happen as frequently as we saw it for a while. But when you turn the page and you get to UFC 322, I don't know that Islam needs to be chasing both belts at the same time because of what he did at 155.
That's right.
But there's a lot of safety in fighting at a weight class where you're dominating. I get Ilya was there and he's very dangerous to anyone in the octagon. But then when you start to look at what Islam is attempting, you look at the risk versus the reward, right? The reward is you beat Della Maddalena, you're the welterweight champion, you have now won 2 weights in the UFC. The risk, though, is you lose to Jack. If you lose to Jack, you now did not beat Della Maddalena, but you don't even have the belt at 155 anymore.
Yeah.
So is it worth it? Is the risk worth the reward?
Okay, I have to disclose to you because I had an incident with Islam 2 days ago and it really made me feel good. But he came in to do media and he ends up in front of everybody asking me for a quick wrestling lesson. He said, aside from you, that I was the guy that he admired, and we did some stuff on the wall, and it made me feel good.
Oh,
so I was kind of showing him some stuff, and I was kind of showing him how to pull off, and I felt like he was at a higher level than me, but he showed me that respect. He showed me the respect to say that I want to learn this from you, and I actually do have a concern with a position from Jack that I've seen you in before. Okay, great. Next thing I know, Islam and I are on the wall, and we're working this thing out. Now, with that said, I do think Islam as the heir apparent to Khabib's throne. I do think Islam as the guy that cleaned out 155 prior to Ilya coming in. I think it's important that he forges his own path. And one thing that he is now given a chance to do that's different than Khabib never went to the other weight class. He was very disciplined, in fact, to not go to the other weight class. And this is the one thing. This is the thing where Islam, and I know he doesn't want out of the shadow of Khabib. He's proud to be. Actually, yeah, he's proud to be in that shadow. But for guys like you and I that are on the outside and we're just watching it, I do think it's a massive opportunity for him to achieve and bring some honor to the gym that hasn't previously been done.
Could I always wonder, right? Because they are so closely tied together, and they should be, right? They were athlete 1 and 2 for the great Nurmagomedov,
Yes.
right? They're closely together. But when you look at everything, and truthfully, outside of the one loss that Islam had where he got caught, it's kind of all been identical. Mm-hmm. Islam, though, has defended the belt more than Khabib. He's done more. Granted that he doesn't want to get out of the shadow, when I honestly think that at this point, the shadow should not be as big anymore because he has really solidified himself as one of the best of all time, right? He's won and defended the lightweight title more than anyone in UFC history. I'm talking BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar, Khabib, Oliveira, all those great fighters. Nobody defended that belt more than Islam Makhachev. Yep. I believe the risk is great for the reward that's at stake. I just wonder if there are some assurances you don't get it done. I know we took the belt, but you do have the right to go back and challenge for it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I always wonder, like, when they tell a guy like Ilya, you got to give up the 145-pound belt. Say Charles beat him. Does Ilya have that right to go back down?
Right.
Because you remember when TJ Dillashaw lost to Henry, he went back up as the champion.
As the champion.
Yes, right? Yes. So it's like, do they have those assurances in place for him?
Well, and let me just give you a more recent example because we're hearing that with Weili versus the Bullet. Now, I don't know.
That's another thing.
Yeah, but that's one that they're talking about, that if Weili fails against the Bullet, that she just rolls back down and takes on Mackenzie Dern. And it's like, hey, that may all be true, but that's dangerous. You got to burn your ships. I believe when Volkanovski had that razor thin close match with Islam,
he went back down as the champ.
That's right. He woke up the next day as champ. Now let's just imagine, but we're splitting hairs, that he had walked away from that. That the only way I make up tomorrow world champion is if I beat you.
Yep.
If you beat me, you wake up champion, I wake up champion too. And Daniel, when you get right there, you get right down to that final inch. Can I dig deeper? Can I throw one more punch? I think something like that I think it's relevant. I think it matters. And I think that these people need to be real careful, and maybe even the UFC as a whole, to be very careful if somebody goes up to not say, well, they can just come back down and try again.
I wonder if they're telling them that, though. Or what if there isn't any assurances? Then I don't know that the reward is worth the risk.
Agreed.
Right? Because if you are just kind of, because now you're just kind of in purgatory. You either stay in this weight class where the champ stays, or you go back down to the other weight where you don't know if you're going to get a title opportunity.
And Islam's in a fun spot, by the way. I know he's talking about Ilya and the world's talking about Ilya, but out of nowhere, Kamaru Usman comes out and says, look, it's not personal against you or me, but I think I should get whoever the winner is.
Yeah.
Well, Kamaru versus Islam is actually a very interesting match.
Yes, it's much more
now
interesting.
You got that wrestling component,
and the
right?
wrestling component, and same manager, same, like a lot of connective tissue between the two.
Where's Rakhmonov, by the way?
Dude, he's hurt.
He
was hurt when he fought Ian Gary, and he's just been gone since.
And that was just an ankle, though, right?
No, I thought he had a knee problem.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the problem is, like, 170, it's the only weight class where you have a bunch of young guys with a whole bunch of big records, right? Morales is 18-0. Sean Brady's in this weight. Ian Gary's in this weight. Rakhmonov's in this weight. Jack is in this weight. They're all like young prospects with just glowing records. And then Islam comes up, he jumps all these guys. So now you're going to have all these other guys fighting each other to get to whoever the champion is. And Kamaru's still in there.
Yes.
Joaquin Buckley is still in the mix at that weight. There are so many great fighters at 170 that the weight class is interesting. But it's very telling whenever the lightweight champion comes up and he is a minus 285 favorite. Jack is a plus 320, which was a bigger number earlier in the week. Is this disrespectful?
Yes, it is, and it's changing a little bit. Look, one of these guys is better than we know, and quite frankly, it's gonna be very obvious in hindsight. One of these guys is better. I don't predict that we have a back and forth battle or some kind of a split decision. I think one guy's probably going to go out and take charge. If Islam gets him down early, it's very realistic to see Islam finding some of those Kamaru's and we all get up and go home. If Jack can drag this a little bit, I mean, he's shown to be so gritty and tough, and he's not getting credit for it. Jack's not an overly recognizable guy. There was a piece where he was walking around Times Square earlier in this weekend. He still has a star. He's still forming.
Wait, were a lot of people running up to Jack?
No, it's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't really recognizing him, and then he had even done some stuff where Craig Jones was with him, and they ran up to Craig and wanted Jack to hold the kid. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. Now you come out the other side of this.
But you win this fight, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Changes.
Yeah, everyone becomes a star, right? You're not a star until you're a star, and I think that this is Jack's big moment. And I've also seen Jack in some of these situations where all the pressure's removed because we believe the opponent's going to win.
Bilal
comes out and looks great. He walked through Bilal.
Yeah.
You know how good Bilal Muhammad is? He walked through. Bilal just signed to take on David Carr, by the way. Freestyle.
Bilal fights next week.
Yeah.
Against Ian Gary.
Against Ian Gary.
So things are happening, right? So you shine on the biggest stage, MSG, you become a star.
For sure.
Jack gets it done here, you become a star.
Yeah, but Islam gets that same credit, right? I mean, we're talking about Islam.
It took Islam a while, too.
Yeah, and we're comparing him to Khabib and his stardom at 155, but there is a new story being told. This was another thing. When Islam and I were working the other day, I was trying to let him know, we don't know what your longevity is going to be at 170 pounds, but there's a chance. I mean, you're now pursuing George St. Pierre. You're now pursuing Kamaru Usman. You're now a 170-pounder. And Daniel, even when I spoke to Islam, I could tell he was still thinking of 155. He hasn't fully let that go. He views that as kind of his, and I would like him to break up with it. I'd like him to divorce it completely and really try this 170 thing. I'm looking at him. He's big and strong.
Strong, yeah.
I'm just sharing that. I'm sharing that to foreshadow, because after the fight, I want to be able to come back to this topic.
You know what the problem with that is? Remember Max Holloway?
Yep.
Was insistent that 145 was his weight, even though he looked so great against Justin Gaethje and all that, and then look at what happened against Ilia Topuria. When you start gaining all that weight, you got to really kind of just focus on what's ahead.
Agreed.
I think that Islam is doing that. Hey, I want to do this fun little thing real quick. Okay. So we have this thing. Okay. It's like a grip tester, right?
Yep.
And earlier in the week, the UFC social team did this thing where you grip the thing and you see how strong you are. It tells your grip. Islam Makhachev, bro, he was at 161.
I couldn't believe it.
It's higher than Pereira. It's literally higher than anyone.
I couldn't believe it.
It's the high.
That was the day that we worked on the wrestling.
Until
I watched him do the.
Until we do it.
Yeah.
He's the strongest until we do it.
Let's get it.
I'm ready to pull this thing. I think you pull it as hard as you can for about 3 seconds.
Yep.
And you check the score.
Give it a rip.
Can I lift it or do I put it down? What do you
I've
think is
heard
the best
both
skills?
stories. I'm gonna go here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go here.
That's
but that
like
doesn't
pulling
mean that's the right. Yeah.
All right. Let me go. Ready?
Get it. Get it. Ah! Come on, that was good. That's long enough. That's long enough.
120. That's pretty.
That's
good.
a real number.
That's my number.
Yeah.
120.4.
Yes, last time I did this, it was a 117, and I got credit. People praised me for
I have 120.4.
for 117.
40 short of Islam.
Can you believe that?
He
I
fights
couldn't
at
believe when
170.
I watched him do it. By the way, I got to tell you, that was legit.
Did he put 2 hands on it?
Yeah, he might have driven it like this. Either he or Jack did, but either way,
It's 160. That's
we all
a
just
lot.
no one even said anything. It was so high. We just, what the heck?
120.
All right. I thought you could 140. That actually
Holy
surprises me.
smokes.
That beat my own record.
140
Is that
for
right?
JLP.
Is that right?
That's right.
I just beat my own.
But
okay.
it was a quick pull you did.
It was
there.
a quick pull. I saw somebody else do that. Somebody else said that it only needs to. I'm just, you listen to the kids. You ever done that punching bag at the? Did I get you? Do I get credit for this?
By 20.
All right. Thank you.
Like you're split.
Might be a first time. I appreciate it.
But how about Islam?
Cowboy Steve's still thinking about the pickleball game, so I'm glad that I'm glad he got to see this.
Cowboy Steve. Hey, yeah, that's
He's
my
still
boy.
mad. Why didn't you come under the ball? He tells me all the time, why didn't you come under the ball?
Yeah, well, Chael, that's
never played
in the rundown. It says who has the stronger grip. It's clearly Chael Sonnen. It's clearly Chael Sonnen, Dr. Chael. All right, Chael, listen. Islam was asked, who, Chael, who needs to spend 2 to 3 years in Dagestan? And let's take a look.
Conor McGregor.
Conor, no, not allowed. Sean Brady, no. He don't have to come. Machado, yeah, he have to spend some time in Dagestan. Paddy Pimblett, he have to live in Dagestan to learn how to wrestle. Latapuro, like our neighbor. Chandler, yeah, for cardio, he have to come. Camaro is already been there. Leon Edwards, who was training in AKA before, he can come. Maddalena, it's good area for him. Welcome.
Oh,
All right. Now he said no, but I think it was he said no to Sean Brady. I think that
compliment
meant
that
he's
he
already
didn't
good.
need it.
Yeah.
He didn't need it. No to Sean Brady. No to Usman.
Kamar Usman. Yeah.
No to Ilya Taporia because he said Ilya is their neighbor or something. But I think he said for Paddy Pimblett, he needs to go live there. Oh my God, I thought I saw Paddy Pimblett respond to that, and he's pissed. Paddy said he hopes Jack punches his head in.
Oh wow.
He said because Ilya.
Paddy gets pissed off fast. That's not a big insult.
He's a scouser.
He gets pissed off,
He
man.
gets pissed. But
like
I kind of like it.
I do too.
I like when you get mad.
too.
You don't want to get disrespected.
Yep.
But it seems like Islam respects Della Maddalena a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And it seems like Jack respects Islam. A lot of respect in this fight. But
Common opponents, by the way, in the practice room, both with Volkanovski and with Blahoma
Yes.
Muhammad. Practice room, but two.
still common.
Yeah.
A lot of respect between these two, but ultimately on Saturday night, they're going to go at it like crazy. But chill. When you see Islam, and all he's saying, this guy, who needs to spend time in Dagestan, in your opinion, to learn to wrestle?
Well, I don't know that Michael Chandler needs to. It's a different kind of wrestling. I will tell you, this Dagestani wrestling is very different. They credit Sambo. Now, we all know they're getting this in wrestling rooms, but their respect actually ties into Sambo. It ties into judo. I've seen Khabib and Henry Cejudo get in in person. I've watched them fight, and Khabib takes judo over wrestling. It turns into this huge thing.
That's crazy.
But the way he ties up Khabib, everything comes with the fence. You push him in the fence, and then you go to work from there. And it really is a different style of wrestling, quite frankly. A Michael Chandler, a Kamar Usman, it's a different style of wrestling. So who needs to go to Dagestan? Everybody could benefit.
I'm going to take
my son.
Dagestan.
After the way Islam treated me the other day, I'm going to take my son. I'm going to take my son. He made me feel welcome.
I'll tell you who should go back.
Told me I should come there and coach. That's a big compliment.
It's a big compliment.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but Leon should.
Yeah.
Because the way Sean Brady was actually able to take him down and control him, he's doing his wrestling, but I don't know if he's like wrestling enough or at the rate that he needs to. Okay. But that's kind of hard, right? Because in hindsight, the way he defended takedowns from Kamaru Usman in the third fight, we were all praising him for his takedown defense. So maybe I take that back.
Gary did some of that with the Rachmanov fight, where he didn't have great offense, but he did have that. He did have that
good
defense.
Takedown
Where
defense.
you go, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I take that back. It's not Leon Edwards. I'm sorry, Rocky.
Can I tell you a problem with Leon? Can I tell you something about Leon?
Tell me.
He doesn't know how good he is. That's his problem. I coach kids that have this same thing. I feel like when Leon was coming up, maybe he didn't have parents or teachers
Hey, guess
telling
who
him
I
how
met
great
the
he
other
was.
day? One of your kids, I think he might have beat my son.
Okay.
In a wrestling match at the middle school national duels.
Did you get his name?
I don't remember his
I'd
name.
be very proud of him
He
if
beat
he got
he beat one of my kids on my
Okay.
team. I think he beat this kid Bradley. Yeah, like 139 pounds. He was wearing a Westland shirt. I go
Okay.
to Chael coaching. He goes, yeah, I'm in his club.
Wow. I'll bet you it was Darian. I'll bet you that was Darian, but that's
What
a
weight
big
does he
deal.
wrestle
And
at,
well, 139, he's the state champ.
Yep, that's
He was
the kid.
32 last year, but,
But he's an
39
eighth
now.
grader.
Yes.
Yep, that's the kid.
Yep.
He was good.
Yep.
Chael, we got a super fight in the co-main event. Zhang Weili fights Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight title. Let me ask you this. Is this the greatest female fight of all time?
It could be the most technical and the most decorated. We don't have any fighter, that includes Amanda, that's had as many checks, has as many training camps, has as many walkouts, as many press conferences as the Bullet. The Bullet truly, as a career, nobody's really touched her. I don't know if there's very many guys that have touched her. Now you use Weili. It's a former champion, but she never lost the belt. So now we're talking about that same champ type idea that we're seeing in the main event. Daniel, I must tell you, I have been stunned as a community how under the radar this fight is. I have been stunned as a city being out here in New York. I have not seen a billboard for this. I have not seen a T-shirt for this. There is something about this match, and I talked to Errol about it. I said, Errol, what's going on? Why am I not seeing promotion? He said, Chael, the UFC did everything. He said, it's the two girls. Weili comes from a culture where that's disrespectful. And Errol said, and just with the Bullet, that's just not something in her past where she comes out and does a lot of media. And I said, well, I would think if these two greats are fighting, to your point, on paper, these are the two of the most beautiful resumes to ever set foot in the octagon and put it on the line against each other. And I do feel like it's going under the radar. I really do.
You know,
my way of trying to help and to promote it is I'm just calling it out. That's how I see it.
So here's my thing. Zhang Weili is trying to, Valentina Shevchenko is trying to win a UFC fight for the 11th time 11 title defenses. Yep. She's up there with Anderson Silva and John Jones.
It's crazy.
We should be talking about her. It almost feels like, kind of like Michael Jordan, where no matter what LeBron does, I don't know that people will be like, he's the greatest of all time. Because we are so in love with what Mike did. I think Amanda Nunes and Valentina are kind of similar.
Yep.
Amanda is almost unchallenged as the greatest female fighter of all time, when in reality, Valentina defended more. She fought in 2 weight classes also. There are so many things that she has done in her career. Yeah, that she should be considered. Yep. And I think hands down, this is the greatest female fight of all time.
Yes.
Because we got Cyborg versus Amanda.
Yep.
They were both very good. They weren't as good as these two.
Sure.
In terms of skill level. We got Ronda versus Holly. They fought in front of 60,000 people. They were both insanely good.
Yep.
They weren't as good as these two.
Sure.
These are the 2 best women fighters we have ever seen inside the UFC. And I believe that this weekend will prove that the level continues to grow. And the reason we think the level's getting better is really based on these 2. Because at 135, once Amanda left, there were multiple champions. Yep. Juliana was champion. Raquel Pennington was champion. Now it seems like the belt's settled with Kayla. But nobody took the belt off of Zhang Weili.
Sure.
And nobody took the belt off of Valentina. Nope. And the defenses were starting to get easier.
Yes, thank you.
So they had to fight each other.
Yes.
Yes, this is the greatest female fight of all time.
The Grasso fight, history says Grasso should have won that fight, and it was actually the Bullet, and she made it clear. Round Bullet, round Bullet, round Bullet, round Bullet. She shows off her grappling skills. The Bullet is getting better. That's the scary thing about when you get these greats. You think, well, we do it in their prime, and that's always a debate whether it's fair or not. Oh, yeah, they're in their prime, all right.
Yeah.
These ladies are killers. You want to talk about the Bullet's got 11 behind her? She could have 7 or 8 still in front of her.
Yes. Well, think about this, though. Tatiana Suarez is supposed to be a real problem for Zhang Weili. She beat her 5 rounds to 0.
Yeah, surprised me.
What's the gal's name from the French girl? Manon Fior.
Sure.
Was supposed to be a problem for Valentina.
Yes.
She beat her 4 rounds to 1.
That was a surprise, too.
They're dominating.
Was, yeah.
They had to fight each other. So, yes, there's a lot for Valentina to do, but I believe this will be the hardest fight that she's had in a real long time because I think Zhang Weili is just the best. I think she's so amazing at everything that she does, and if she wins, she'll be the first woman to win the flyweight championship and the strawweight championship. Is her winning 2 titles gonna allow for us to now hold her in the same regard that we see Amanda Nunes? Or
it's very tough. It's just so tough with undefeated records and then matchups. I mean, you're talking about 2 titles, and boy, that's so impressive to me. And I think there's only 6 athletes between men and women that have ever done it. But Rose is on that list. Rose beat Weili not once, but beat her twice, and Rose has had a couple of different championships. So does she just automatically slide in front of her? No, probably not. And that's the thing with the GOAT list. That's what's so hard about the John Joneses of the world that are fighting for legacy. Like, that's so hard for a lot of us to even to relate to. Like, I got to worry about today. Yeah. John is so decorated success. He's thinking about how they're going to talk about me 10 years from now. And it's like, it's a different level of success. John was so successful, he gave a world championship back. I remember he gave the light heavyweight title back. I couldn't imagine that. And the only reason I bring that up is that GOAT debate is so hard. Do we put her in there? Probably not. And I'll tell you another thing, Daniel. No matter how good she is, it's a co-main event spot. And I know that's tough.
You have made that point.
Boy, it's true.
You have made that point that her and Valentina, for as good as they've been, most of the time spent has been in co-main events.
Yep.
And Merab is just now starting to main event cards, right? He's going to main event December. He was in a co-main event in January.
Yep. But he headlined Sphere. Biggest gate of all time.
He headlined Sphere. He headlined last year when he fought O'Malley again.
Yep.
But now he's like going to be a headliner going forward because his star matches that. So when we get through these big fight cards, a lot of times we start to think about what happens going forward. So we always do our Monday headline, right? Monday morning, what's going to be the headline?
I do believe that Ilia Topuria and Islam are going to be the headline. Now, is that because they're going to foreshadow and come after each other? And that's not going to get the next matchup, but are we going to start building in that direction? Or if Islam loses, I think my headline's even stronger that it's going to be Ilia Topuria and Islam. I think that Islam and Ilia find themselves next week. I think it's unfair to Jack. I think it's unfair to everybody.
Yeah.
But I do predict for you on Good Guy, Bad Guy next week, you and I are probably looking at Islam and Ilia and fantasizing a little bit.
Could you imagine for all those guys I listed earlier with those sterling records, Ilia now comes up and gets an opportunity in front of him too?
Yeah.
After Islam just did it?
Yeah.
That would be, hey, yo. That's when you're like, yo, life is just not fair.
Right.
Right?
And he's the most handsome guy.
Yeah.
Why is everything working out for this guy?
Yeah, we have to go through this with Islam coming up. Now this guy's coming up. No. I think that Monday morning we will be sitting here going.
No, I'm sorry. No, hold on. So, Daniel, after the fights, when we get to Monday morning, the headlines, what do you think they'll be?
Oh, yeah, you did it again. Damn. I've gotten so used to your abuse that I don't even expect
about that.
it anymore.
God, that's an arrogant thing. That's an arrogant thing that you should be asking. He just wants my opinion. I'm sorry. No, what do you think the headline will be?
It is the bad guy and the other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah, so the other guy needs to just take his place where he can. It'll be, we have now saw the greatest female fighter of all time.
Wow.
I don't know who it is.
Wow.
Whoever wins that fight, we will be talking about that person as the greatest female fighter we have ever seen.
We should. I don't know if you're right, but I hope we do.
I think we will be talking about that because I think whoever wins, it will be so good that we'll go, we've never seen anything like this.
You and I are guessing Air will decide.
This level of competition.
Yeah. I hope that Air goes with that. They deserve that.
I think that's what it'll be.
Okay.
Chael, there are 3 more welterweight fights on the card, right? We have Sean Brady versus Michael Morales, 2 versus 8, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates.
That's the one.
And also, obviously, we have the main event, right?
Boy, they're worried about that one. Prates and Leon, the British media, boy, they're worried about that one. Because Prates is so unpredictable.
But if we had to choose between these 4, which 2 would you prefer to see get the winner of Islam JDM? Prates, Leon, or Brady versus Morales?
Well, we have to go with parity. What Sean Brady has done just simply can't. It just can't be overlooked. I mean, Sean Brady was 15-0 at one point. He goes over. He takes an undercard match against Belal Muhammad in a different continent, a different country. It's the only one that doesn't go his way. He learns from that fight. He learns, I need to believe in myself. I mean, he questioned himself. I remember that night. I remember when he left the locker room going, we have a problem here. We got a young guy. George St. Pierre went through it when he goes out and drops the fight to Matt Hughes. Like, there's some things, even the greats, they just have to learn. and then they have to learn to believe themselves. And Brady's done that ever since, and Brady definitely deserves it if he can get by this one. I can't make it an unforeseen. I mean, Brady's the real deal, but he's got himself a real problem on Saturday.
I think it's Sean Brady. If Sean Brady wins, I think it's Sean Brady.
And Daniel, of those fights, what do you think should be the one?
Yes, you're getting it. You're getting it. Could you imagine Sean Brady fighting for a world title as an American?
No.
I mean, we have no American champions. It's like, can we just talk about the American guy and put him closer to the title fight? He's very good.
He's so good.
And he has the right type of style.
Yes, he does.
Right? He has the right type of style that would be very difficult for Islam and very difficult for Jack Della Maddalena. So if we're talking parity, if we're talking about the toughest guy, I think the winner of Brady versus Morales, especially if it's Brady, is the one that I think would get the title fight. Prates still needs another win if he gets through Leon. I mean, he would have beaten Jeff Neal and Leon back-to-back, but he just lost to Ian Gary. Ian Gary fights next week. Yep. If Ian Gary beats Bilal Muhammad, many will be calling for him to potentially
and he's
get a chance at an opportunity.
Can I ask you something real fast? And I know you can't give an opinion on a fight, so I want to dance around that with just a small game, and I want to use Dustin Poirier, and I want to use Jack, knowing that Islam's already been there with Poirier, and knowing that he's going to fight Jack. Who would be a harder fight? Okay, so this is a mythical fight.
Okay,
but Dustin
Jack
Poirier
and Dustin?
Jack. Yeah, that's right. Who's the harder? Who do you think? Who would you see as the more difficult draw?
I think Dustin Poirier, and the way that he fought, was really tough for Islam. Yeah. Islam even said it after the fight. He goes, "This guy's one of the greatest I've ever competed once. He's good." With that being said, I think the fight that he has this weekend's harder.
Okay.
Because the guy's bigger.
Yep.
He's a natural welterweight.
Yes, he is.
Right? For as difficult of a time as Islam had to take down Dustin, he's going to be trying to do the same thing against a bigger guy naturally. Whereas Dustin has great boxing. Jack might have the best boxing in all of MMA in terms of pure boxing skills. Dustin's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but Jack isn't that. But Jack is very squirrely when he gets on the ground. Yep. I think when I bring everything together, I think the biggest factor for me is the size. And I think because of the size, I think Jack is the hardest fight that he's ever had.
Wow.
Not just
big compliment
right now.
Yeah.
I think Jack's the toughest fight Islam's ever had.
I'm glad I asked you that question. I'm glad I asked you it that way because Dustin did give him all he wanted. I mean, Dustin was a real handful everywhere. He was a step behind, but he went everywhere. He could punch with him. He could kick with him. What is this?
Bring it over
here,
Cheyenne.
This?
Hi, Cheyenne.
Are you bringing the lovely Cheyenne? Yeah, there we go.
Okay, chill. Oh, first off, we got the signature pizza box of the weekend. But this is Prince Street Pizza UFC 322 limited edition pie. Chill. Dana calls this the greatest, Dana's language, pizza of all time. Loaded. It's got slow cooked short rib sausage ragu topped with New Jersey fresh mozzarella.
That's right.
And pecorino romano. It's available at all Prince Street Pizza locations through November 30th.
You don't know what pecorino is.
It is also sold in a limited edition UFC 322 box.
You did wonderful.
Chill. Is this the...
You did wonderful. I met the owner.
Does this have short rib on it?
Yes, that's what he's saying. Thank you, Daniel. I met the owner. The owner brought this, and he got it to Cheyenne and Charlie just in time. Like the elevator doors were closing. Made it this morning. Dana contributed to the recipe, or Dana went in the store and tried them and declared this the best recipe. But at any rate, that's the story behind this. I know that right from the owner. Let's try it.
So I tasted the pizza. Mm-hmm. It's very good. Now I have to taste the crust because the crust, to me, is what makes a pizza. And I'm like a pizza snob. I am a pizza.
Yeah, because you like pecorino.
I like pecorino. I like sausage ragu topped with New Jersey fresh mozzarella. Hey, I one of them, Jill. I'm one of them. I'm bougie. Mm-hmm. Let me put my finger up real quick.
Honestly, that's really good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to wrap the show, or are we going to do a show with our mouth full? Like, where do we go from here? What happens now?
UFC 322 goes down this weekend. Make sure you go buy the pay-per-view at ESPN pay-per-view. And don't miss out on your Prince Street Pizza UFC 322 collab.
I like it, but
until
I'd like
next time.
Daniel, what do you think of the pizza?
That I'm going to eat the pizza as soon as we're done. Joe, pick up your finger. Until next time, I'm Daniel Cormier. That's Chael Sonnen. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. UFC 322 goes down. It's about to be crazy. Let me eat this pizza.
It was really good.
This is very good.